Good to have you join us again today. My name is Dakbo Aruwajoye. Today is going to be in two folds. We need to connect Abuja because there's a digital switchover today. The people of Abuja, for the benefit of the people of Abuja, 30 free channels today, talking about the digital switchover. Though the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, has told us today will be the former switchover for people of Abuja. So we'll link up with our correspondent to get the essence of the switchover today. But in the studio, I have Mr. Remi Omowai, SSA, Electronic Media, to the Governor of Osun State. So it's better we have you here because we need to know what is going on in Osun. Yesterday, there was a budget, 2017 budget of 138 trillion naira. Billion naira. Trillion or billion?
Billion.
Okay, wonderful.
Well, Nigeria budget is not even up to 138 trillion. So how will Osun try?
Yeah, that's to billion naira. Yeah, because Nigerian budget is 7-point-something trillion naira. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. A budget of recovery, it said. Yeah. Right, we'll talk about that. But let's talk about what is going on. Osun has been quiet for a while. Really, very, very quiet. What is going on now? There's been a whole lot going on.
What's your
payment of salaries? Yeah, quiet.
What's
really.
your definition of quiet?
Being quiet is not. We've not really heard much about Osun, except yesterday when we talked about the budget of recovery.
Well, from my own view, which I think is actually the correct view, there were a lot of orchestrated media attack against the person of Ogbeni Ralph Aregbesola, and after several attack, lies, a lot of our antagonists ran out of lies. Then when the governor came in, a lot of people didn't understand him. They didn't appreciate the fact that this man meant well for the state. So there were a lot of accusations and all that. But 6 years down the lane, they've come to realize that it meant business. He just woke up one day and said, okay, we can have Okpomo. We can put, instead of putting books, giving our students books, we can give them tablets. He projected into the future and he said, we can start it from Osun. And everybody said, come, is this man serious at all? Fourth year. Okpomo was locked 2013. This is the fourth year. The fourth set just collected their own Okpomo 2-3 weeks ago. So it has become reality. There's nothing anybody can say. There were a lot of states that started feeding program in Nigeria. Today, Osun remains the only state that still continued with that feeding program.
So have you been able to fund that program? Because I know that initiative has even permeated to the federal government. But how have you been able to fund that program?
Ingenuity of the governor. We've been so prudent, and we understand that we believe in this because it's a chain. The farmers will bring food crops. The caterer, about 3,007 of them, will prepare for those pupils. And we discovered that singular house increased the enrollment by almost half, from about 150,000 to 262,000 pupils. That singular art. So we knew it's something we must do, and it has won us a lot of accolade. I mean, the governor had been invited to the UK Parliament twice to come and speak on this. So we have managed our resources judiciously to ensure laudable programs such as home meal still continues in the States.
But some people will say, initially, it was a good initiative, yeah. But some people argue it's a lost priority. What do you have to say?
You won't call it a lost priority because there are a lot of academic research work that has shown that free feeding program would increase, would help reduce dropout in school syndrome. And I just give an instance that about 150,000, the enrollment increased to about 262,000.
Of pupils.
Yeah, and not only that, if you look at the scheme very well, the food that we give them, they are good foods. I mean, it will help their mental capacity. So you can't call that lost priority. These are our future. They're the future of our country. So we have to ensure we give them the possible best. So it's not lost priority. And don't also forget that there's a day they will take a whole egg, 262,000. The poultry farmers will bring that. They don't eat the frozen chicken, the imported chicken. They take live chicken, 15,000 every week. Cow, they take fruit. This thing comes from the farmers in Osun, so it creates employment. There are about 3,007 caterers that prepares this food. It creates employment. So it's a chain of it's a chain of network that really helps a lot of people. So it goes beyond even the student. But coming back to the student, I told you that what they take, we are keen about their nutrition, and it helps their mental capacity. So it's not a lot for us. They are our future.
So you're building future leaders, right?
Yeah, so we have to invest into them. It's not about food alone. We also identified that there are issues with schools infrastructure. So we did a lot of good new infrastructure that no state can boast of in Nigeria. Apart from schools infrastructure, we have also reviewed the curriculum of the teachers. We have trained the teachers. We've done a lot of things to make our student a whole complete student, or one more free uniform. So we're bothered and concerned about the future of those young kids.
The future. Yeah. Well, since you mentioned education, you know the reclassification then, is it reclassification? That's a word you called it. Generated a lot of controversies.
Yeah.
Right about now, do you think you're done with the controversies?
If Ralph smiles, it might generate controversy. So we have come to realize the fact that it projects into the future, and a lot of people around didn't understand him initially. When it came with the reclassification, yeah, we had a lot of noise and all that, but all that had been settled. We have moved forward. These schools have been built. As I speak to you, we've done over 50 new schools. So we've gotten the results. So
what's the result? I want to know what the result is.
President Muhammadu Buhari was in Osun, made to come and commission a school. And when he saw it, he was shocked. He asked the government, where did you get money to build this school? We had our best results in WAEC in 15 years. We are getting good results. So that's the result. What we want to get, we want a scenario by when we turn out our students after SS3, chunk of them would make it to the tertiary institution. And we are gradually getting the result. It's been difficult, it's been very challenging. But
and the PTA, the people, I mean, the Parent Teachers Association.
They keyed into it fully.
Because there were complaints that you imagine the Christians and the Muslims
I
together.
told you something. We had a lot of orchestrated media attack. There was a time they said the governor wanted to Islamicize. He wanted to secede and all that. He's a bold governor. He knows what is right, and he follows the constitution to the letter. Today, several states in Nigeria had followed suit. They now have their own coat of arms. And anthem. When Aregbesola started, it was noise all over around, but today everybody had done it. And if you look at a lot of our scheme, a lot of people are also keen into it. I often give people this illustration. Nigeria of today, you need a very creative governor, a creative leader to run the state. We had relied so much on crude, and we are living that era. So you need a very creative governor that will project into the future, that will put stuff that years to come, generations to come will benefit. I'll give a trivial example.
Okay.
In 1959, when Awolowo came up with the issue of having television station, I'm sure a lot of people say this man is crazy, because there were a lot of European nations that didn't have television station. 50 years down the lane, it remains the largest TV network in Africa. He came up with the idea of OAU, 1962. And
the Bafem Malo University?
Look at the infrastructure, and people were like, rubbish, why are you building this? This is waste of resources. 50 years down the lane, that structure remains the best in West Africa. So there are a lot of things the governor had done, not because of today alone, but because of tomorrow. Okay. If our previous leader had done that, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Okay.
So it took time for people outside the state to understand what the government meant, because there were a lot of orchestrated media attack. But people within the state understood him quite well. That was why they voted for him massively, against all odds, against all campaign against Mr. Governor. They voted for him, both the Christians and the Muslims. You can't say he wants to Islamitize a state where is a predominantly Muslim state. And when he formed his cabinet, he had more Christians
in the cabinet than the Muslims.
His hate, more Christians. So you can't say he wants to, if he wants to Islamize it, he would ensure those that would carry out would be Muslims.
Okay.
So despite the fact that there are more Muslims in the state, it still ensured he had more Christians. So all those things are gone. We've forged that ahead already.
Okay. There are a whole lot to talk about, but we'll definitely do that after this short break, okay? Just stay with us, please. Welcome back. Like I told you, this switchover is presently on in Abuja. Dignitaries are there to welcome that development. 30 new free channels are set for Abuja people. And according to the Minister of Information, within 3 years of a digital switchover, we're going to be having 1 million jobs. A lot of people will be looking for jobs, development of content, technical services, software development, installation and repairs. About now 450,000 boxes are for flag off. So a lot of job for the boys. And again, it's not going to be in one fell swoop. Abuja will have its own digital switchover today, maybe Lagos very soon. If we get better feeds or if we get the minister talking, we'll give you what is going on over there.
Also resulted in the signing of an agreement by all member states of ITU Region 1. And one of the key points of this agreement is that all analog television transmitters operating in the UHF band will be switched off by 17th of June 2015. This agreement will refer to as the Geneva 2006 or GE06 agreement. Nigeria was a significant signatory to this agreement. After the World Radio Congress of 2007, in Geneva again, the National Broadcasting Commission initiated the setting up of the Presidential Advisory Committee, PAC, for the transition from analog television to terrestrial television in Nigeria. This committee submitted its report to the federal government on 20th of June 2009 with a very well-defined roadmap that would have seen Nigeria complete its transition to digital broadcasting by 17th of June 2012. Unfortunately, because of a lot of political problems, government could not address the recommendations of the PAC report until late in 2012. It was only on 20th of 2012 that DCC Nigeria, the Presidential Implementation Committee.
Okay. That's the little we can give you from the feed that we're getting from Abuja. A lot of ministers there, the Minister of Information, the Minister of Communication, and I saw even the Fayemi, the Minister of Solid Minerals. Thank you so much. And I still have in the studio Omoaye as the essay to the media, to the governor of Osun State on social media, electronic media. What's the difference between electronic media and social media?
Social media is a sub of electronic media.
Okay. So you have somebody for that?
No, we don't.
Okay. So you do all together. Yeah. Fantastic. I know you have a better idea what is going on in Abuja. We'll still talk about Osun, but let's talk about this digital switchover. Is Osun ready for switchover?
Yeah, we're ready. It should have been done long before now. All states, television stations had been informed, and when we came into office in 2010, part of what we needed to do quickly was to evaluate our state-owned broadcasting stations, and having at the back of our mind that digital switchover was coming up very soon, so we started doing some things. For instance, before we came in, what they just do there was present from the live studio. So we got the then latest version of a TriCaster for virtual sets.
Wow.
So, and we ensure we brought in some young new guys, and we retrained our staff. So we also, the conventional, this might be too technical for people, but the conventional transmitter, you have between the studio and the conventional transmitter, you have a coaxial cable. And because we know we are going digital, I wanted to improve on our quality, so we changed it to fiber optic. So, man, we're really prepared.
Now you've got content? Because I remember I used to watch OSBC because I went to Obafemi Awolowo University.
That was there.
It was so dry.
No, OSBC has improved now. OSBC has changed. We've gone digital. We're on the cable station. We also stream. So that tells you we have stepped up. You can't have a governor like Rauf Aregbesola as a governor of a state and not do all that, because he monitors himself. I know he's an online person, so when he's not in the country, he wants to watch OSBC online. He wants to monitor, he wants to do a lot of things,
So OSBC is online now?
We're online, yeah.
Okay, so thereabout the switchover, because according to what it said, the Minister of Information said 1 million jobs will be provided. That means you'll be providing jobs also in Osun?
Yeah, you create job because, the set-top boxes, people would help install, people would help repair. You would have agents that would sell it, so they will create job. Before now, once you get your TV and you put antenna, it just pick stations. But now you'd have set-top boxes, people would help you connect it, they will configure. And so that on its own will create a lot of jobs. At our level, we're even looking at, it's just that the federal government is taking it over. Initially, our plan was to talk to some of those manufacturers directly, and we have set-top boxes customized for our state, because on the OSBC conglomerate, we have one in Osogbo, we have one in Ibokun, and there's another TV station owned by the state in Iwo. So we are thinking,
we're not merging or having different channels.
Yeah, we'll have different channels, but we'll put them on the same digital platform. But now that the federal government is taking over the whole thing, we're keen to it. But what is important is from our level, we're prepared. As a matter of fact, we're proposing at a time, one of our transmitter is a digital ready transmitter.
Okay. That
they can even use that transmitter to fire from our hand. But we're still looking at the way the whole thing would work.
What would be the benefit to people of Osun, generally, talking about the switchover? The people, talking about Nigerians, really. What would be the benefit?
Well, it's just like asking, what was the benefit of GSM? Initially, we were using the conventional landline, and we upgraded to GSM. And when the GSM started, it was just SMS. Later, MMS came in. So the digital upgrade, you're upgrading your platform. So you would have more channels. There'll be clarity. You won't have to stress yourself with turning the pole always. So you have option of, for now, if you don't have money for digital platform, you just have your conventional TV. You only pick maybe the state TV station that is on terrestrial platform, maybe one or two. But with the set-top boxes that will be given to people, you can have option of picking a lot of stations. You just said it that 30 stations in Abuja. So I think the federal government is proposing to give it out for free. So once you get the set-top box, you put it on your TV, you can get 30 stations without having to pay subscriber fee and all that. So people at the grassroots would really benefit. They would also step up to...
And it will also break the monopoly of those giving us content, the major provider of digital.
And don't also forget, the implication is you're also going to create a lot of jobs for those content providers. Yes. You'll create a lot of jobs because there will be a lot of competition. You want to turn out the best content and all that. Then most of the state stations that have not been serious will also know this is time for them to be serious, because once they go on the digital platform, there will be minimum standard. The implication is, let's say OSBC is on that platform, people from Sokoto, Maiduguri would be able to watch us.
To view and access.
So we want to impress them. We'd also want to appeal to them. So we would have to improve on our content, which implies we would have to train our people, get more hands and all that. But we are prepared. We've done all that. So it won't be an issue for us to key into.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And let's go back to Osun proper. We're still in Osun. And let's talk about, because the last May Day, there were complaints that it's going to be a bleak May Day, Workers' Day for the people of Osun because of unpaid salaries. Can you tell us to what extent have you paid salaries in Osun?
Well, I just woke up to a very funny headline today that there's a northern state that had not paid salary for 15 months, that there was demonstration yesterday and all that. And I looked at it that, why mention Osun always when it comes to salaries? Let me take you back the memory lane. When, before President Muhammadu Buhari became the president, there was so much noise about salary payments, and it was Osun. And when the president came and said, okay, there was even no state that can't pay salary. We want to help you with a loan, with this concessionary loan, which we often call bailout. 27 states came out. And we discovered a chunk of the state around us had the more terrible situation than Osun. And the bailout came and the whole thing is gone now. As we speak, we are not owing any salary because this week alone we paid September, October, November.
September, October, November.
So 2016. So we have December left. And we have not finished December, so we can't say we are owing December. Fact for December had not been done, so we can't say.
So when was that paid?
It was on this week.
Okay,
So
this
people
week.
started getting alert on Tuesday. Today's Thursday, so it's been done.
That's God win for the people then.
Yeah, but you know one good thing about Nigerians, when you are owing someone money, everybody will know. When the person gets the money, nobody will talk.
Okay, no, hopefully we'll be getting calls from Osun definitely today. Hopefully, we should get calls from Osun. So we want to get your own observation. Have they really paid your salary as a worker in Osun? So at least maybe you help me to replicate or echo what Remy has said. Hopefully,
Yeah.
We need to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Okay,
No problem.
All right, stay with us. Welcome back. I say I'm Remy Omowai, SSA, Electronic Media to Osun State Government. Thank you very much, Remy, for staying tuned. And we encourage others to call in because I said now the lines, the phone lines are going to be inputted on your screen. So you just call us to tell us maybe you've received your alert already because Remy said they've been paying in Osun. So that's a good news, really.
Yeah.
So you said whenever you are owing, people don't talk. People talk much when they're owing, but when they're paid, people keep quiet.
That's normal for people, because for you, if you are owing someone and you're like, it's because Arabia has not paid salary. Don't, when they pay salary, I'll pay you. And this period of the year, people want to spend a lot. Someone just sent me a tweet yesterday, and it was so funny, and he said, hey, for once, I want to commend your governor. That is paying salary, bulk of salary at the period where MMM crashed. That he knows a lot of schools out that went into MMM in Osun. That's on the light.
That's on the light side.
Yeah.
I have Modupe on the line from Unilag. Good morning, Modupe.
Morning.
Morning.
Yes, I'm a first-time caller. I've been
Oh.
watching your program for long.
You're
I
welcome.
want to talk to the gentleman there.
Yeah, Remy.
I just called my sister. She's a teacher at Osun State. Her mommy is a retired teacher too. They've been collecting half salary for long, and she told me just now that she has not received any alert, and she's been collecting half salary since January. And you people will come to station and be seeing what is not. We're in democracy. Please say the truth and let the truth set you free.
Okay, Modupe, are you still there? You've said it all, really.
Yeah,
said
thank
you've
you
been
very much,
collecting half salary for a long time.
Modopa. There's a Yoruba adage that says, someone that would lie will say his witness is in heaven. Yeah, I'm going to talk on what she called after is actually modulated salary. I'm going to talk on that. But I'm on a national station. I won't come here to be lying. We've rolled out salary payment September, October, November. People have been getting their alerts. So maybe the person has not gotten our alerts. Then as I said, our people, when it comes to the issue of money, they're always very, on the modulated, I think I need to clear the hair. When the governor came in as a governor in 2010, crude was sold for like $100 per barrel. Our wage bill was around 1.4. By last year, wage bill had gone to 3.6. Crude had gone
3.6 billion.
for the state, not the local government. And crude had gone to like $25 per barrel. So we needed to adjust our spending. It affected a lot of states. And we agreed with Labour. The good thing about us in Osun is we follow democracy to the letter. So the governor decided to set up an apportionment committee headed by the first NLC chairman in Nigeria, Comrade Azan Sumono, with Labour representative and the government representative. What they do is simple. At the end of the month, they will sit down. What do we have to share? Okay, let this go to salary, let this go to infrastructure. And we all looked at it that the only way we can sustain this is some cadre of the workers, those in the higher cadre, that we should be giving them 50% of the salary, and those in the middle stroke lower cadre should get full payment. Incidentally, those in the middle stroke lower cadre they are more in number. That's level 1 to 7. So they were getting full payment, while levels 8 and above were getting half payment under the modulated scheme. And the agreement for the modulated is as soon as the revenue of the states improves, would increase it. Now that the revenue improved, levels 8 to 10 had been moved to 75%.
Okay.
So for September, October, November, they got 75%.
So when are they going to get the remaining 50%, the ones you are owing them?
Well, there's an agreement that as soon as revenue improves,
Okay.
we'll do something.
All right then.
We don't do this alone. We have an apportionment committee headed by a veteran labor person,
Okay.
Comrade Azan Sumona.
So it's all inclusive.
It's all inclusive.
Okay.
So
Can I take Samuel from Ikorodu?
Yep.
Good morning, Samuel.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm the first time caller actually.
You're welcome.
I'm from Osun State, but I was born here in Lagos, and I know Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola
Okay.
right from the time of Commissioner of Work, and I know how industrial he is. But I want to really ask this question. Please, sorry, did he still have a good relationship with Asiwaju, being his boss? And I believe the ideology. I can't talk much about the salary. I don't have anybody.
Okay, the one that concerns you, that's the one you're asking.
Exactly.
Do you want to answer that question?
we are die hard Asiwaju in Osun.
Die hard.
Die hard Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Osun.
So no shaking.
No shaking, die hard.
All right then. So you've heard that. Okay, let's go back to the payment of salaries. So when did you say, okay, when the economy gets better,
Better, yeah.
where did you get money to pay the 3 months now?
Yeah, don't also forget that a few weeks ago, there was this Paris loan and London loan refund to Nigeria. So about 14 states benefited from it, Osun inclusive. And the president said, what goes to each of the states, they should use at least half of the money to offset salary arrears. And for us, we even did more than half. We got 11.7. Some states didn't disclose the amount they got, but you know, because we are
11.7 billion.
The governor came out and said, this is what came in from, this is our own share of the money.
Which one is the 34.5 billion?
That's a bailout. This is a refund of Paris loan and London loan over deduction between 95 and 20.
So you got that around what time?
We got that about 2 weeks ago.
So when did you get the 34 billion?
34 billion was a bailout, was a concessionary loan that we got last year. A lot of states that had issues with salaries. So about 27 states benefited from.
And you've used that to pay part of the salaries also?
Yeah, we've exhausted that.
Okay.
Yeah, because let me just explain the bailout thing. When the president came in and he discovered a lot of states couldn't pay salary and it was difficult, he said, okay, state that has issues to write that they need the loan and they should do documentation of what they need. So for us in Osun, I think I also need to clarify, when you talk about state salary, it's also different from the local government salary. In Osun, we have 30 local government and 1 area office. You have the state salary, you have the local government salary. So we wrote the federal government through the CBN that we need 64 billion to offset salary arrears for the state workers and pensioners, active workers and pensioners. Then for the local government, that we need 23 billion to offset arrears of pension, gratuities and salary for the local government workers. And at the end of the day, CBN wrote back to tell us they're only approving for the state 25 billion, then for the local government 9 billion, removing the areas of pensioner and their gratuity. They are the only approving for active workers. So in all in Osun, we got 34.5 billion naira for local government, 9 billion, state 25.
Okay.
So, but you know, because the governor, the kind of person he is, he felt the pensioner had done so much for the state, they had served the state. And it would be very unfair for us to just pay the active workers without doing something for the pensioners. So he urged the committee, the apportionment committee that I spoke about earlier, that they should do something to ensure that they bring in the pensioners. So the pensioners also benefited from the bailout fund. And I told you earlier that for the state, our salary is about 3.6 every month. So even if they give us the entire 34 billion,
It'll take like how many months?
Maybe
Like
7
10?
months, yeah. But what the state got was 25. But what we did was we ensured that we brought the committee, apportionment committee, sat with you know, on the apportionment committee, you have the representative of the government and labor. And other major stakeholder. They all sat and looked at it very well. So they ensured that there was enough transparency in disbursements of the fund. If you read in dailies a few weeks ago, there was the House of Assembly, the State House of Assembly had a public hearing on the disbursements on the fund.
Yes.
The labor union came, the bankers were there, the government representative. the House of Assembly member, and everybody looked at the balance sheet and said, no, you are done very well.
So
there's no state in Nigeria.
There's
No state in Nigeria that had been so transparent with the disbursements of bailout. As Osun, we did it was an open thing. You know, you might have itches here and there, but it was an open thing that everybody saw.
So the money was allocated to where they should.
It was, yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. You said the pensioners were captured also.
Yes, for the bailouts, because from the letter we got from the CBN, from the fund we got from the CBN, the pensioners were not supposed to be captured, but Mr. Governor felt those people had served us. We have to do something for them.
Okay.
So they were also captured.
Okay.
As I also speak, I told you about the modulated salary. Before now, pensioners that hands lower than 20,000 get full. Those that hands higher than 20,000 gets half. But with the new arrangement, those that hands less than between 20 and 80,000 also get 75 now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
5%.
we'll talk more about, because there are allegations from Dino Adeyemi, the PDP spokesperson, alleging you, the government of Osun, diverting these funds into a Lagos-based contract. We'll talk about that, but I have Reverend Dominic on the line from Ali Mosho. Good morning, Reverend.
Hello, Dabo, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Compliments of the season.
Same to you, Reverend.
Dabo, allow me to express my feelings. The state spokesperson or the advisor of the governor there has spoken well.
Okay.
Everybody knows there's a challenge in the economy of Nigeria today. One thing it takes us is to manage it well and manage it as much we have, and which they are doing. I give them kudos, but Dabo, I regret to come from Imo State last night.
Okay.
I saw my governor who had not paid for over 1 year. Both the pensioners putting 600 million naira carnival. I was ashamed of myself. I'm going to the east. I will talk to them when I get there. They will also raise their socks. How could a man who told the civil servant to go to farm Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, that he cannot pay, now roll up drums to dance on the head of this empty stomach civil servant? That's the worst I have ever seen in governance in Nigeria. But things must happen in Imo State. We are there. There was somebody called me last night and said, are you still the representative from Imo? I said, from Imo. But it's a shame. Look at how Western, Yoruba governors are managing their affairs.
Yeah.
Doing right. Try to do something, think out of box. But the man in Imo State, probably not to use the wrong word. That man, I voted for him. We brought him to power. He was an interference person. He has skills, but we don't know he's a common thief. Sorry to use that word.
That's a very strong word, Reverend Dominic.
No. I'm a preacher, please. I'm a pastor. I'm not a politician. That man has put shame on us. How could you do a carnival? Why are only for 1 year? Why only the pensioners for over 2 years? And you're dancing on the head.
Okay.
What is the solution to that?
All right, Reverend Dominic, we'll try and bring a representative of the governor also here to tell us why we're having a carnival now when the state is owing a lot of workers. We'll try in as much as possible to bring a spokesperson of the Imo State Governor, Rochas Okorocha. And let me go back to you. A lot to be discussed today. Practically, I said Dino Adeyemi, the PDP spokesperson, said you diverted into Lagos-based contracts some of the money meant for the bailout of Osun State. Is that true?
Well, I call him Egbon Dino because incidentally we are from the same area. He's a politician and he's not of our device, so they lie a lot. And, you know, we are not surprised because he's been doing a lot of they've been doing a lot of stuff to blackmail the governor, but the people knows the truth. So before the election 2014, there were a lot of noise about Ogbeni Ralph Arabeshola, and people outside, they say, we're even afraid that will this man win? Because there were a lot of orchestrated media attack against us. But because the people knows the truth, I just told you for the OMIO program, 262,000 pupils benefit daily. So there's no amount of what you write in the dailies that will change their mind. So we did a public hearing. The bankers were there. The labor union were there. People were there, and they all saw it, and they applauded the state. So what he says doesn't matter. In as much as we are doing what is right.
So it's not true that you diverted the funds?
We did not. I just told you about the Paris Club reform now. We are among the few states that came out that said, this is what we got.
Okay.
And the federal government said, out of what you got, you should use half of it. We are spending more than half.
Have you done the publication of how much you've spent? And
No, we've not done the publication, but
you do that
what we did was even more than publication. We had the live,
okay.
We had the TV
Okay.
production, and
Okay.
there've been a lot of reports in the dailies.
Wonderful.
And let me also say, the civil servant knows the truth. We must appreciate them always because they stood by our government. In spite of instigations from the opposition, they stood by our government because they knew the government has vision to move the state forward.
Okay. There's a whole lot to talk about. We'll talk about how to fund this budget, the budget of recovery.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that.
Thank you so much.
That's after this short break. Don't go anywhere, please. Welcome back. I still have Mr. Remy Omowaye in the studio. And now we enter the budget proper now. Yeah. The budget of recovery, 138 billion naira, 2017 budget. Yeah. How are you going to fund this budget?
We'll fund it. It's a proposal. It's a budget proposal. There's a clear fact. Before now, years back, at the end of the month, everybody will go to Abuja to go and get their own share of oil proceeds. But there's a fact, oil is going. There's nothing we want to do about that. And we had identified that. When we came in the government, the challenge we had, we knew we needed to diversify fast. But the challenge we had was that we didn't have enough, we didn't have good infrastructure. So the state was not industrialized. There was no way we could have diversified immediately without infrastructure. A typical example, we looked at Lagos. That if we can be supplying 10% of what Lagos consumes, agri-produce, that would help us a lot. So, but for us to do that, we needed to open up our farm settlements. So we opened up our farm settlement and we ensured we start a road construction that will lead from an axis of Osun through Ogun State to Lagos without even going through Ibadan.
So all the produce can just get to Lagos easily.
We just need 10% from Lagos.
Can I quickly take somebody?
Okay.
A caller. Mazi Okorafo from Arochukwu. Good morning, Mazi.
Yes, Comrade Mazi Patrick Okorafo.
Morning, sir.
Please, my brother, I just want you to help us. You see, we from Arochukwu here, we don't have road going to Arochukwu this Christmas. If you can just help us build our...
You don't have what?
Our road from Umuahia to Arochukwu.
Okay.
My brother, no way.
Okay.
And even if you have to pull a five on that, it's a problem. I don't know what we are going to do this Christmas.
Okay.
If you can just help us, the people there, talk to the people of authority there, the senators and House of Reps. Let them repair Ohofia Arochukwu road to help my people. Or they can follow from Nkana, which is Akwa Ibom, Arochukwu, to help us. My people are suffering.
Okay.
Because when we think how much we are going to spend there, my brother, I don't know. The transportation from that place is higher than the school fees we pay for your child. I don't know what to do. And my brother, Mr. Dabo, I thank all of you for this program you are doing. You have saved so many souls, so many states, and so many people with this program. And I pray, by the grace of God, by 2017, God will continue teaching you for increase, going from the silver from the court to the studio to everybody.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. The authority is listening, so your road should be fixed very soon, hopefully. Okay, thank you so much, comrade. And let's go back to the funding. You were talking about diversification, opening road networks, connecting the farms to somewhere, rural settlements.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, for instance, we've done a lot in the area of rural electrification. We came up with this agri scheme called ORIP. Under the ORIP, we knew it is important you open up the farm settlement, you support farmers, you put earth facilities in farm settlement, you put electricity. So we did a lot in the area of rural electrification, water and all that. So for us, crude had gone. So, but in spite of that, the first thing we did was to ensure that we blocked leakages and improved on our revenue collection. So we have done that. We had reviewed a lot of obsolete laws. For instance, when we came into government, there are some of the laws that when you need to pay fine, you pay 50 kobo. So we reviewed those laws.
Trying to generate money.
Yeah, how would you be paying 50 kobo for a fine?
So you want to commit the crime all over.
All over.
Because you have
So
money
we
to
reviewed
pay.
the law, and we've done a lot in the area of agric. We've done a lot in the area of roads infrastructure. We've done over 1,000 kilometers.
Okay. Can I interrupt you?
Yep.
Let me quickly take Shagun. Good morning, Shagun.
Good morning, Dapo.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother from Osun.
Morning, sir.
Let me once again commend this your program.
Yes.
May God continue to bless you guys to give us more service.
Amen.
My brother from Osun, I'm happy that you have said motivated salaries.
Yes, sir.
And we all know how we got here. It was as a result of mismanagement here and there, both at the local government, at the state government, at the government generally. What I want Aregbe to do in Osun State, is to match his resources with his entourage.
Resources with what?
With his entourage.
Oh, the entourage.
When the governor travels,
Okay.
I have had cause to experience it. He goes with a lot of people.
Or you should
Some
cut
of us
down.
will- Sorry, I didn't get that. Dapo.
You should cut down. Is that what you're saying? You
Yes.
should cut down his
So
entourage.
that what we see of him matches what this my brother is telling us. And I hope also that my brother is getting modulated salary. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shagun.
Well, I want to disagree on that. The governor has a very light entourage. But don't forget, I told you something. Lagos is the annex. Is his home too. When he comes into Lagos, I'm sure a lot of people will join him. They join him. Someone asked a question about Ashwaju, and I told him, I don't know if any other state in Osun, we're 100% Ashwaju. It's die hard. So if he comes into Osun at times, you see a lot of people joining his convoy, a lot of people coming to greet him. So for issue of entourage, we've got a very light entourage. We also know we need to reduce our recurrent expenditure. So we have done that.
So you're cutting down. And he asked one question. He said, are you getting modulated salary also?
Yes.
Is your salary full?
No, it's modulated.
It's more, so you get half.
Modulated, yes,
Now
I
you get
half.
75%.
No, half. My own kid, I get half.
And you don't mind?
We don't have option. We are called to serve.
Okay.
You see, the good thing about this thing is when we are all outside, hanging out and just like, bros, now modulated me to the collector, which one talk. I have the alert here now. And I told you 8 to 10 are now getting 75. Then 12 and above gets modulated, and we falls into that category, so we get 50%.
Okay.
Life continues.
Life continues. Okay, wonderful.
We'll get out of it one day.
Okay. Okay, because diversification.
Yes.
Initially when I started this program, I said that most of those projects, the old mill, yes, everything, laudable projects.
Yeah.
But the governor or the government has learnt lessons, right? Because people were saying it was churning out these projects then without thinking of where to get the money for. It's dawned on everybody now that there's no money anywhere in the federal. So you're thinking inwards now.
Yeah.
You talked about agriculture.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else again, because
We're looking at mining too.
that's what I was
we're
going
looking
to.
at mining too. Don't
There's
forget-
gold in Osun.
Yes, particularly in Elisha. So we are doing a lot in that area. You see, part of the challenge we have is, if you look at a lot of countries out there, they spend so much on exploration. We have not spent anything serious on exploration. So that's been a challenge. So part of what our government is doing, we're doing a lot. It goes beyond there is gold in Elisha. What's the quantity that is in Elisha? We don't have to move the entire Elisha city. What technology will you use to mine? So we are doing all that. If we go to government, and I tell people Lagos is developing fast today because Fashola met a blueprint, a working blueprint. I had fun to do it. Somebody came, it continued with where it stopped because Ashwaju had laid a good foundation.
So there wasn't a blueprint in Osun.
We didn't have a serious foundation. So that's the challenge. So the first thing we needed to do was work on the foundation. So if I know that there's this quantity of gold in Elisha, bringing investors to come and tap it, despite the fact that we know the law does not exclusively give you the right to take it, we would have done all that. So what we're doing nowadays, we're doing a lot in the area of, exploration. What do we have? We're doing a lot, and very soon we'll start turning out something. In fact, we're making some little thing from this already. Okay,
because we've got limited time to go. We need to talk about something again, because the governor is much of culture, and Osun itself is has got enough cultural sites. What are you doing? Even with the conjunction, you know, we have a new king.
Yeah, the Oni of Ife.
Yes, the Oni of Ife. What are you doing in collaboration with the king and bringing Oshun? Because when we talk about tourism can fetch Oshun a whole lot of money.
We know that we have identified, that's why we're putting a lot of money into culture too.
30 seconds ago.
We know that we have identified, we're putting a lot of money into culture. We are working with a lot of communities. So we want to bring people back to Oshun. If you know, part of what we do, every festive period, we'll make train services available. Every festive period. And part of the objective is...
And we still have one this
We have
Christmas.
one going. Part of the objective is to bring people back home, visit, come and spend their festive period, go to tourism sites and all that. So we are doing a lot in that area because we know we cannot survive any longer with what is coming from Abuja. So we are looking inward and we're doing a lot in spite of all the challenges.
Okay, Remy, before we leave, can you squeeze this in some few seconds? A message for the people, from the Oshun people.
One of the time the people, they've been with us. The support is massive. I tell people this: if Ogbenara still walks on the street of Oshun, you still see people oiling him, appreciating him. No governor in Nigeria after 6 years in office has that. They've been supportive. We appreciate them. We thank them so much. And would continue to impress them.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Remy Omowaye, SA Electronic Media, to the Osun State government. Thank you once again for being part of the program. And that's our package for today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. My name is Dakbo Aruwa Joy. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.